Welcome back to Taiwan Outlook. Our guest today is Rebecca Fang, Director of International Affairs of the TAHR, Taiwan Association for Human Rights. Ms. Fang, we've been talking about the Shiji Trio case, which reveals a lot of judicial problems we are facing right now. So what are the other legal and judicial problems we are facing?
Well, for the Shiji Trio case, I could probably name three of the key debates. And of course, this case only revealed part of the problem, and there are still a lot of room for improvement. And for this one, the Shiji Trio, mostly there are three major debate or issues. One is capital punishment, but the controversial of that penalty, we already discussed it already. Another debate and controversy lies on the coercive obtained confession. For example, until this day, our court system still heavily relied on confession. Confession could be the only evidence for the court or for the judges to decide this person is guilty or not guilty. I mean, the forensic medicine has improved and advanced so progressively today, but our development of forensic medicine has not catch up with the international standard. Therefore, they could rely on a confession as the only evidence. And this case clearly showed that the reason why the verdict on June 29th by the High Court overturned the 2003 innocence verdict and resentenced the three men with death penalty is because, again, it used the coercive confession as sole evidence against the inmates, which in any standard at international level is not acceptable. So we even invited the former UN Special Rapporteur against torture, Professor Theo van Boven, to join us at the court to do the court observation, and recently he will publish an article on the case, particularly to discussing the three issues: capital punishment, coercive obtained confession, and presumption of innocence. I think these are the principles in accordance with international standards.
As we know that the court system is heavily influenced by authoritarian rule of the martial law period. So there are also other relics or legacies of authoritarian period. What are the other problems?
Other ones would be, for example, recently we are working with Judicial Reform Foundation along with other NGOs on the campaign for 法官法, meaning the Judges Act or Judges Law. Because right now, this profession has no regulation whatsoever, and there's also no monitoring system to examine the judge's performance, or if there is any violation of protocol or violation of certain professional standards or principles, then the judge is responsible. Currently, those regulations are lacking. So the Judges Law campaign has been going on for 10 years now. It is still there, sitting there without going anywhere. And we are really hoping that such an important legislation need to be done, so we can normalize the court system. And for the advancement of our legal environment, I think it's for the betterment. In addition to that, as I mentioned earlier, the migrant workers' well-being or migrants' rights, there are also legislations concerning their well-beings. I mean, we are all human beings, but somehow they are treated as not human at all, which if we pride ourselves, the Taiwanese citizens, as a member of the world citizenship or the international community, how could you treat another human being as less human?
That's right.
So racial discrimination or discrimination at level of gender ethnicity, class, or education or nationality is not acceptable. So those legislations concerning migrants or the so-called foreign bride, I mean, women are traded as products at the market. How can we accept that kind of things happening here?
That's right.
And once they enter in our country, they contribute their life, they become parents, they give birth to a child, and that child is a future citizens of our country. How could you not look after them and treat them as less than second citizen?
That's right.
I think that's not acceptable.
Yeah.
So a lot of legislation need to be done.
Yeah. December 10th is the International Human Rights Day. And as we know that you've been, organizing all kinds of annual events.
Yes,
for that
because
particular event.
TAHR is actually, TAHR was founded on December 10th, 1984. So every year since 1999, around this time, we will organize events. For example, we will do the top 10 human rights news reviews. We will give a review of the whole year, the key human rights news that concern our societies, and give analysis and also campaign for better awareness about those key issues concerning our society. In addition to that, we also publish Taiwan Human Rights Annual Reports, which is still one of the outstanding work in this area. We were hoping that if the National Human Rights Commission is finally established in Taiwan, then they could do the annual report at their level, and then TAHR as an NGO could monitoring and do a comparative study on that. But unfortunately, we still are waiting for the establishment of a National Human Rights Commission. So we'll continue to do the annual reports and hoping that the government or the state will catch up.
Yeah, but as a non-governmental organization, it must be very difficult for NGO to survive, to finance itself, and so on.
Yeah, so we welcome everyone to join our work, and you can donate time, energy, or funding. That would be wonderful.
Have you been recruiting young people to participate in your work and so on?
Yes, human rights education has always been a key mandate of our organization. So every year we will conduct human rights workshop, and particularly focusing on university students or even younger students. So beginning, we usually will coincide with the semester calendar. So the upcoming one will be next year during the spring semester, and the issues will depending on every year. Maybe this year there's a particular key issue, maybe migrant workers issue has come up, like there are a lot of crucial cases that need people's attention, or the ongoing campaign, for example, the Shiji Trio that we talked about, which is a keystone for the judicial reform in Taiwan, or the leprosy patients' rights case, the Lawson case, which also is an ongoing campaign. Another campaign is to abolish death penalty or in support of universal moratorium. All this ongoing work could be reflected in our curriculum for the human rights workshop.
Looking back, what are the most important achievements that you feel most proud of, of the TAHR history?
Well, I don't know if I'm in the position to say that, but from my perspective, because I'm probably too junior to make a statement on that, but I really valued the kind of strength and the accumulative archive of the historical documents. I mean, if you look at the development of this organization, it really reflects the history and development of human rights movement and democracy movement in Taiwan. But so far, you don't really see a lot of people look at the organization this way, because right now, another project of ours will be the establishment of a human rights database or human rights archive. Because since 1984 until now, we have received or taken care of tons of issues, individual cases, from the political prisoners until now the broader issues of human rights. You can see how Taiwanese society developed. So it has such a historical value. And also, until this day, it still kept its independence and stick with its principles and mandate. I admire that a lot. That's why I joined the work.
Yeah. In addition to compiling or collecting human rights data, archives, and so on, so looking to the future, what are the things that you are hoping to accomplish in the near future?
Well, there are still lots of the campaign that's ongoing, and another important mandate of ours is to localize international instruments, either through amend the current legislations or constitution in accordance with international human rights mechanisms. That need to take a long time already. Also, given the peculiar situation of Taiwan, which is not yet a member of the UN, even though we are trying very hard to re-entering into the international community and the international human rights system. So right now, given that circumstances, Taiwanese government or whoever is the ruling government has no obligation to follow or to restrain themselves or to follow the international mechanisms or the covenants or a lot of the principles being signed by so many countries who are member state of the UN. Environmental issues or other indigenous people's rights issues. For example, in September, the Universal Declaration for the Indigenous People's Rights have finally been adopted not only by the Human Rights Council, also by the General Assembly of the UN, which recognize indigenous people's customary law and other collective rights. Because if you know, the latest development of human rights is much broader than the so-called third wave human rights movement. Then environmental rights, rights to shelter, indigenous people's rights, all those need to be considered. But given those standards at an international level, if Taiwanese government or whoever is a ruling government has no obligation to follow that standard, then it's useless.
That's right.
So as NGO, we felt obligated to tell the ruling government that these are the standards you need to observe, and you need to localize those principles and rules into the domestic legislations.
That's right. Ms. Fan, thank you very much for coming to our program, and thank you for your works. Thank you.
My pleasure.
And that's Rebecca Fang, Director of International Affairs of Taiwan Association for Human Rights. And thank you for watching Taiwan Outlook, and see you next week.